I would encourage,
Oh, taxes, semi-annual,
that's exactly what it was, yes.
okay, yep,
We're gonna talk about the semi-annual taxes in a more fully, right? Okay, because I have a question about that.
yep, it's on the agenda, we'll get to that.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Do we have anybody on Zoom, Dina?
No, ma'am.
Okay, everybody's taking the day off.
Sorry, it's a holiday.
In the 11th hour.
Is the post office closed today?
11th day.
We already
Bank,
said,
post
what's that
office.
called?
UPS is working,
The
huh?
guns fell silent over Europe.
Ah,
It's the first line of Barbara Tuchman's book about World War One.
oh, okay.
That's right, November 11th.
I knew it was something special,
Yeah.
but I couldn't remember what.
The Guns of August was the book.
Guns of August, yes.
We have minutes from October 28th. What would we wish to do with those?
I'll move them.
I'll second.
Thank you, David. Thank you, Ben. Any changes or corrections?
There was one thing in item 11 where intent to cut, intent was capitalized and cut wasn't. I thought they should either both be capitalized or one. but
It's
that
a,
was
it should be a capital
We'll
I,
fix that.
intent,
Okay.
It should, it might
dash,
already be fixed.
to,
Right.
dash, capital, cut. And we all know that, but it probably you're just typing fast and off it goes.
But we know what you meant.
That's true. Okay, with that one intent to cut issue, all those in favor of the October 28th, 2025 public meeting, say aye.
Aye.
David, I.
And Judy, aye. Those are approved. In our packets, we also have, I think we have not formally approved these in the past, the October 17th minutes from a 5 PM meeting where I believe the purpose of it was to sign the MS1 and set the tax rate or accept the tax rate as forwarded to
First
us from the DRA, which at that time was $28.44, which since has been revised.
Yeah, and I wrote on the bottom of the minutes.
I saw that.
Okay, a little note, so if
Does-
anybody reads them, they'll get to that and see that it was revised.
Yep. What do we wish to do with those?
I'll move them.
Thank you, Ben.
I'll second.
Thank you, David.
Wait, I can't second, I wasn't there. I have to abstain.
Okay, I shall second. You could second them, I suppose, but not vote. Okay, all those in favor say aye,
Ben, aye.
and Judy, aye.
And I'll abstain as I wasn't at that meeting.
Okay,
Mm.
thank you. 1, 2, 3. By the way, again, thank you for making these packets, it's really helpful.
You're welcome.
And thank Jordan for
Jordan,
the,
thanks you. I mean,
the,
Jordan says you're welcome.
the cute paper clips my
I know,
daughter
she
really
does that.
wants.
She does that to you every time.
Okay, we have, I don't believe we have a manifest.
We do not, and I was gonna ask you if I can send that to you later.
How do we feel about that, guys?
All right.
Okay, all right, we'll do the usual, you'll send it out to the three of us, we'll independently get back to you.
Yes.
Okay, test later. 5, then we have a report of woodcut, map 408, lot 35,
Excuse me.
Citadel Lane, and this is the woodcut.
I'll move it.
Okay, thank
I'll
you,
second.
Ben.
Where is Citadel Lane?
It is,
Citadel?
yeah,
I have to think
It's,
about
it's
that.
off,
Baker Hill?
Franklin Hill,
Oh, Franklin, right.
Okay.
yeah. So you come up the very steep,
First one on your left.
first on the left,
There's
yes.
only a couple houses out there.
oh, right, I do remember. Let's see, Ben moved it, David seconded it, all those in favor say aye,
David, I.
and Judy aye, and that's approved. They gave lots of paperwork for this one. Okay.
Yep.
Then we have some, we're gonna move into a budget review and discussion. The before we do that, in your packets, you will see some additional information about Avatar, the assessing system, that describes what we have signed up for. And then some other information that I think is a new website that Jordan has given us additional information about it, and it looks like it actually, to start at least, will be less expensive than the current one. Is that correct, Dean?
Yes. Envision, yes.
Okay. So, let's skip the budget for right now and jump to the semi-annual collection of taxes, thank you,
Yes.
David. And let's see if we have,
So I
there
have
it is.
a question about that.
Okay.
Gina, you sent out an email saying it had to be approved and you had to follow the statute. Is this a select board decision or is this a town meeting decision?
The select board would put it into the warrant and the town would vote on it.
Okay, so it does need to be voted on by
Correct.
the town,
Yep.
Correct.
okay.
So, essentially, if I can summarize, you'd have, what they do is they take last year's billing from the October, November billing, and they split it in half, generally speaking. And then they mail that half of a bill out with a due date of July 1st. Then they take the April information, the way we have it now, because taxes are assessed half in arrears and half in advance. So the December 1st due date is recalculated to make sure if something has changed, gone down or gone up. So the second billing is a whole new recalculation to make the total payment what it should be.
Correct.
That's essentially, I think that second payment would be the one that would take the most work, because the first one should be fairly straightforward.
Yeah, the first one will just go, like next year it would be half
of
of
this
whatever
year's.
this year's was, so it's a straight figure.
So, another question. If you go from paying once a year to paying twice a year, that mathematically, there are two possibilities. One is that people get a tax break in effect because their payment, where they would have paid a full year, now they only pay a half year and then they pay another half 6 months later, or there's an acceleration. So you would pay earlier than you would have otherwise, and then you get the
You'll
other
pay
half.
half your
So-
bill earlier.
And so there's either a cost to taxpayers or a benefit to taxpayers. You know, it's not huge, but it's the time value of that money.
Yeah.
And there's a cost or a benefit to the town, which is the inverse of what it is for taxpayers. If we move to this kind of a system, which of those categories are we in? Does that make sense to people?
Absolutely.
Yep, I think the main thing for the municipality is you get a cash stream, a revenue stream consistently, so that if there is borrowing, there's less that you need to borrow. And for the citizens, for many of them, it's much easier to, I'll use a $10,000 payment, so you put $5,000 aside, you pay that, you save up some more. I'm not sure if you have trouble,
But in the year of transition, in
And
the year
it's-
when you
it's
switch,
18
if it's a
months.
$10,000 tax bill every year and it doesn't change, in the year of transition, there's two possibilities. One is that taxpayers only pay $5,000. The other is that they pay $15,000. And I'm wondering which of those two categories you fall into.
Yeah, I think, and you know, I have a message into the DRA about just this. Because in RSA 7615A, it doesn't spell it out quite as clear as I'd like it to. But I believe in March March at the town meeting in '26, if it is voted yes, it doesn't come into effect until '27.
Okay.
So people would have time to,
Yes, but you
Say
still,
whatever.
whenever you put it into
And-
effect,
and-
you're gonna either
in,
retard the tax timing a little bit or accelerate it a little bit, and I
Correct.
wanna understand which of those is.
well, my understanding, and again, I'm needing confirmation of this, is that yes, you're still in '26 gonna pay your taxes in December, but then come the next July 1st,
You pay
you're gonna pay half.
half.
So you think there's an acceleration for taxpayers is what happens. So, I mean,
You'd have to do it, you'd have to do it that way, because if you waited till the end of the year, then that's defeating the whole purpose
They won't
of-
put it into place, I understood, for 18 months, which allows you to budget.
so going
I
forward,
believe.
people would have, only have to pay half their tax bill every 6 months instead of having to pay the whole thing in every 12 months. And for people who are coming into the system fresh, new to homeowners, there's no,
They-
that's fine. But for existing taxpayers, what that means is that they're gonna have a year where they're gonna pay 150% of their taxes.
Yes.
They're
Right,
gonna
but they're
have,
also gonna have ample time.
yeah, they'll have time to
know
plan
that.
for it, and
It's
they'll
not
know.
like it gets voted in March and then bam, in July it starts.
Okay, but, look, there's
Yeah,
a lot of people who don't care.
Uh.
Or who have the means where that isn't an issue for them.
Mhm.
But there are also people probably in town for whom that having a year where they have their tax bill go up by 50%, more or less,
Right,
the amount of money, the amount of cash that they have to come up with in that year goes up by
Yeah.
50% is gonna be a hardship, and so.
it's gonna be
We-
difficult for, yes.
I don't really have a dog in this fight, I don't care which we do, but we ought to be clear to people so that people, particularly if the people who are gonna vote on this at town meeting, they ought to be explicit.
Yes,
Okay.
absolutely.
David, I thought I was understanding what you were saying, and I realize I don't. So you say that in 1 year, under the current system, you pay the $10,000 in
December.
November.
Yeah, so,
And then the next, after this phase is in, the next, May, you pay 5, and then in December, you pay 5. That's what I'm thinking would happen. Am I misunderstanding how?
no, I think that's right, but you're
Okay.
gonna have one period where you're gonna have paid $15,000 in a year.
In a 12-month period?
Yes.
Yes, okay, now I understand what you're saying.
Yes.
Yes.
Whereas
No, okay.
that would have never been the case
Well, yeah,
previously.
in a 13-month period, yeah.
Yeah, maybe 13 months or
Yeah,
something like that.
exactly, yes.
Yeah.
So,
So if you are cash flow constrained, that's an interesting question
Right,
for those people that
But
are
going
cash.
yeah, I mean, we have taxpayers who
Oh,
struggle to
I-
pay their bill as it is.
I-
And if
no
you
doubt.
go to those people and say, okay, during this 13-month period, you're gonna have to pay 150% of what you would have otherwise had to pay in that 13-month period, that's gonna be hard for them, I think, or maybe, I don't know,
Mhm,
you know?
Oh, of course, it's gonna be hard for some people. The question is there anything the town might be able to do to ameliorate that? Could,
I mean, look, we
Not
always
bad.
grant, we always consider and grant hardship abatements, and a lot of those people are in that situation anyways. And there's other ways to reduce your taxes with veterans credits or senior citizens, but I don't think there's anything, like, we're not gonna be able to say to a whole class of taxpayers, hey, we'll let it slide for, or we're gonna let you,
Not pay the tax.
Yeah.
That, I doubt that will happen, but,
no.
mhm.
I think a couple things that come to mind. If they have, first off, you're right, there are lots of mechanisms for granting hardships and all of that. I think if you simply pay it late, there's an interest charge, but it's not, I know in Vermont, there's like this huge step function.
yeah,
It's horrible if you, there's like big penalty if you're a day late. Here, it's and so that makes it simpler.
and I think it's, what, 8%?
yeah.
Today it's 8%.
And it's often waived, the interest and penalties are often waived.
I have a hard time believing this hasn't come up before.
It has.
It has,
We've talked about it before, mainly because of the TAN interest.
So what
That's why it's come up.
but it's also gone to town meeting.
would the
Yes,
posture
I
be?
know.
Would it be the select board would recommend this, and then it would
Yes.
be on the warrant and people could vote for it, and it'd be a separate warrant
Right,
article?
Yep.
except the warrant, it could be discussed at town meeting.
Or the select board could not recommend it, and
Correct.
somebody else could put up a
The
warrant.
select board could not do it, right, not go forward with a warrant article, and it could
A
be put
petition.
in by petition.
So how many times has this been discussed and
I
turned
just
down?
remember one other time.
I remember one time at town meeting, I remember probably 3, maybe more times as a board, the board talking about it.
Yeah,
And at some point in the past, I think the board wanted to take it to town meeting, and I think the tax collector at the time was not in favor of it. So,
well, she said that it would be double her salary, so they thought, well, that probably won't be really cost effective. And that was when the TAN interest was quite low.
Well,
Well, you know, things are changing in the world, or have changed already. And, you know, when you're talking between $40,000 and $50,000 to borrow money to get you through, it's not gonna end the TAN. I do believe there are gonna be times
sure.
and years that we're still gonna need to have a TAN, depending on road projects and other big things that are
we
happening.
might be able to, though, to reduce it.
Correct.
I think the first few years, especially if we do it, we will see some confusion and some hardship for sure. And then
Yeah,
it would take some time to smooth
Right.
out the kinks and have most people then able to get into
Right.
that flow. But I know, some people just have a really hard time budgeting, setting aside.
right,
There are always emergencies that you reach into that little pot and take out the
Right.
cash.
I mean, and I don't know if you guys read the thing in here, but the DRA puts out
Yeah,
pros and cons. So, and of course, you guys have talked mostly about all the pros and cons too. You know, one of the cons is confusion, especially when it's new. And people not paying either the first one or forgetting the second one's coming and ends up in trouble. So, you know,
Is it always an even, clean split, or is there a chance
No.
the second one's gonna be higher?
the
It
second
could
one
be
is
if-
usually higher.
if you
Or
end
at
up,
least different.
Yes, at least.
if the tax rate changes the second, because that happens with the second.
So the way it works, Ben, is that the first bill is just 50% of your prior year's bill. And then when they do the second one, they figure out what the tax bill for that year really is, and any difference between that year and the prior year gets made up in that second payment.
That's what, well, my point is that exponentially adds to confusion.
Yes, it absolutely does.
So it could go up, it could go down, if
Yeah,
taxes
it's
went
still
down.
gonna
and-
Throw a monkey wrench into
Right.
people's.
But of course, then they talk about one of the pros is it's a smoother household budgeting, because you're spreading it out better, but
There's
depends
also
on
a
how you
pro
budget.
that the town's not paying on $40,000 or $50,000 of interest, which lowers your general budget, which lowers people's taxes to some degree anyway. So there
But
is
not
some
a lot.
benefit to the taxpayer.
I think there's a net positive benefit to doing it twice a year, but I can see a bit of confusion and the need to still borrow some, and who knows where the interest rate will be. I don't know, to me, it just seems, personally, I think it would be easier, although, paying 3 bills instead of two would be.
And I haven't heard from the tax collector.
Right.
She's gathering her info on how much more work it would be for her.
Twice as much.
I don't think so, cause I think the first one is gonna be
The
real
first
easy.
one should be really easy, the second
You know,
one
it's
is
just
where the work will be.
50% of the prior year, you send out a bill. So there's
Well,
some
she
more
doesn't-
collecting that money.
She doesn't calculate it anyways.
Well, she's gonna
And
have
we
to
pay-
do a lot of
we-
explaining.
We pay, well, we usually do that in our office, most people call our office, but, it's the, administrative side of it, it's producing the tax bills, paying to send them out, And then the entering of everything, you know, people don't pay their taxes twice a year. Some people pay every month, but the bulk of it is in December and January. So those are busy months. Now that's gonna cut that in half, but it makes it twice a year. So,
Yeah.
well, it doesn't cut it in half, because you have
No.
the same amount of
You
bills.
have the same amount of.
So it's twice a year, it's in July and in December.
Right.
But I know she's commented that she does not believe it will be a very hugely taxing thing,
Wow,
so.
okay.
Do you
Well,
have
it's
any
good thing it's
extra
going to
copies
town
of the pros and cons document?
I'm sorry, what?
Do you have any extra copies of the pros and
I
cons
can
document?
make them, that's for sure.
I'd
Perhaps you
love to see.
could
Yeah.
you send us, you know,
Sure.
that would be great, thank you.
Yeah, I'll just scan it and
Yes,
send
I
it.
was gonna say Jen
Super.
Weston looks to be on the Zoom.
Yeah, she's listening.
So you guys are in favor of this, or you're pushing this, or?
I think so, yes. I mean, and to the point, I think it'd be good for the select board to do the research, to talk to the DRA or town council or whoever, so that the wording, I mean, I'm sure
Yes.
there's nice stock wording you can just drop in, and, I don't think there's a lot of surprises, and
Why do you think it's a good idea?
I think Phil's point certainly resonates with me, that we're spending something like $40,000 a year on the town interest. And even if the tax collector's salary doubled, which I think is about $13,000 a year, that would still be a net savings. I think the town, you know, I mean, talk about other things that people could get their pitchforks and torches out for, to say, we're spending $40,000 on interest? I don't know, that's,
You know how much interest we're spending on the school bond?
Now,
now,
we're not
now,
talking
I mean,
school.
and so,
Now, I didn't want to say anything, but the paper this morning said that there was a state rep that's introducing a bill so that the select board of Claremont could take over and approve their school budget. And I almost jumped up and down about that idea, but,
I'm
my
stepping
reason is-
down right now.
Where's your heel? Whack, whack,
I
whack,
know.
let's talk about what we're supposed to be talking
Speaking of
about.
tar and feathers.
We're also,
Wow.
interest rates change,
Yes, they do,
and they could go back to being low again
that'd be good.
and not be as.
That'd be nice.
yes,
Well, again, we
So
still
I'd
have to
like
borrow, I'm
To hear
sure.
from Phil why he favors it, and Rich.
Strictly for me, it's trying to keep the town's debt limit down as
Okay.
much as we can. Because I also look at the debt on, from vehicles from the capital reserve fund that we may have to buy in time. Fire engines that we do have to buy on time. And economically, I just tend to feel like, you're better off taking as few loans as you can. And when I look at the vehicle spreadsheet, you know, if we do all of those trucks on time, it could be up to $100,000 a year in interest, between the trucks and the tan. And I'm saying, how might you be able to save
That's
$100,000?
real money.
Yeah, you know, maybe we can save $100,000 here. That's my.
And so to summarize, thank you, Phil, Rich's, it was also the interest rate on borrowing and possibly ease of, for the taxpayer, although that's unknown.
right, I mean, in fact, even if we got rid of the $40,000, the way I say, there's 1,000 people in town, 1,000 taxpayers. For quick numbers, that's $40 a year that we would save. That's not chicken feed. I mean, it's not gonna break the bank. And we won't actually save that,
Yeah.
because but
Other-
that's kind of the magnitude, and, I think it's very much worth discussing.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
And Jen, Jen, did you wanna pipe
She
in
was-
here?
Yeah, she said she was just for,
Oh, you're just
The budget.
listening? Okay.
she'll
I have
jump in when she wants.
a question, like, So if we were gonna move forward with something like this,
Mhm.
it seems to me that it would be a good idea to have one or more public forums
Mhm.
before deciding whether to move forward, where we
Yes.
just put out the proposal and let people show up if they want to and ask questions and express views. Is that something that can be done at town meeting? Like, I know we always have just warrant articles and stuff we vote on, but can you have a discussion
You
item?
can.
or-
This, oh yeah, well, this thing, you guys already are going to have, well, no, you're not gonna have it now, because you're not doing the ordinance, but you can have a separate public hearing, meeting, informational meeting about it. Or you can have a separate informational meeting about different warrant articles if you have certain ones you want to. But the budget committee also has 2 public hearings that involve money. I suspect that this is a
This should
warrant
be
article
a
that
warrant
has to go before the budget committee to be discussed. And so there'll be 2 public hearings for that opportunity.
So, and if you, yes, additionally, if we decided not to put it forward, it could be brought up under other matters at town meeting. Although usually by the time that part of the, most
Everybody's
people are
out of
gone.
Yes.
Well, you could bring it up to just discuss it, but you can't vote on it
Right.
happening
No.
unless it's a warrant article.
I mean, it seems to me that there are advantages and costs. There are
Yes.
benefits and costs associated with making a change like this. And I don't really have a strong view, personally, at least so far, that, you know, one option is clearly better than the other, either for the town or for the town's residents. I think before I would be convinced to move forward, I'd wanna have some sort of a forum where people showed up, and I'd wanna hear people say, yeah, we should do this. I'd wanna get some sort of sense that there's some enthusiasm, not to
Not
diminish
just
your sense.
the peanut gallery here.
Yes.
We're 2 people, no.
Well, and
Yeah.
also I think it's
David,
really
I think-
important to write everything down, to get everything written down
Mhm, mhm.
on how it happens, how it works, what the costs are, you know, all the implications to it.
Mhm.
And then get that out to the public and then have your meeting.
Yep,
Oh, one additional thought there. There have to be towns that have done this, that have had this experience, and it either went smoothly and the citizens were okay, or it was a horror show. Is there some way that we could get information from a couple?
Well, there's more towns that have twice tax billing than there are that don't, so I think it just depends on how,
Okay.
well,
how
Rich, you
individuals
lived in
feel.
Hanover bills twice a year. Was it seemed like it was a problem?
I think Canaan does too.
I was clueless as to Hanover town politics. I mean, I went to many town meetings, like 6. And so I don't know, so the
But
answer
you
is.
got a tax bill twice a
Yeah,
year.
well, but, you know, we were also of sufficient means that it's like, all right.
Again, here it is, yeah, write
Yeah,
the
right.
check. Okay.
Again, right. Didn't they just send me one 6 months ago?
Yeah. We have a little, a cabin on Goose Pond, and I think Canaan does twice a year too.
Yes, they do.
And,
Yeah.
I just get the bill and.
Yeah.
Right, and you
Well,
sign, and
listen.
then you write the check.
Yeah, the issue is, David, you're right, the people for whom 3 payments a year are, they're folks living on social security, or they're folks with very small pensions, and that $1,000 or a couple of $1,000s is real money.
There's another divide too, it's that there are a lot of people who live in the town of Lyme who are, you know, affiliated with businesses in Hanover or Dartmouth, and who, you know, for whom Lyme is a suburb of Hanover in effect. But there's also some people who live here who are old timers,
Yeah.
you know, who are still trying to make a go at farming, or who have more modest means of support. And for
Absolutely.
those people that, you know, and I would just say personally, that's, for me, a very valuable part of our community. I would not like to see the town of Lyme converted into a pure suburb of more affluent, you know, or of the affluent sectors of Lebanon and Hanover. I appreciate that we have people who are raising turkeys, and people who are raising blueberries, and people who are doing things that have been done here for hundreds of years and that aren't, you know, biotech employees.
That's a very important constituency,
Mhm.
absolutely.
Okay. Okay, so we will read this, we will come back to this subject.
You have time,
We have a little bit of time,
yeah.
and, we'll probably have another meeting on the budget. We go to the budget committee tomorrow night, but there'll probably be a subsequent one, so we'll be spending more time on the budget, but once that's over, I think we still have a couple weeks where we
Yeah.
can even hold an evening meeting or something else, or at least decide how the board feels. Okay, and I think the same holds for same day school and town meeting and 5-member board. Those are all things we need to get clear our stance on, but it will probably follow wrapping up the budget, because that takes quite a bit of time.
One more thing about the town meeting business. I did notice that Orford holds their town meeting in the evening.
Mhm.
They start at 4 or something, and that certainly would let working people give them a better option to possibly attend. I think you have to do something weird, like start in the morning and then, you know, delay the meeting until the evening or whatever, but I think it's doable.
Yeah, it's unusual, but
Try it out.
we do, we have tried most
Everything.
alternatives.
Saturdays,
Um,
evenings.
Most towns do not have the voting the same day or the same time, or the same place where the town meeting is, because you have most of the people who participate in the business town meeting are also the people who are running the voting, tracking the votes, counting the ballots.
Oh, I see,
It
right.
gets very complicated.
Right.
And you've been there at 7 o'clock at night, and you know there's a lot of activity going on.
Oh, yeah.
If you were having the business meeting at the same time, it could
I
be.
happen to be married to a checklist supervisor.
So anyway, those are all considerations. I know last year, I and the chair of the school board and the town and the school moderator all met over several weeks' time, many hours, trying to put something together, and it didn't work then, and we can certainly think about doing it differently, but
It's always easier to propose solutions that you don't have to be the one who implements.
well, it's hard. As with this issue, there are pluses and minuses for everything. That's life. So, all right, are we good to move on to, let's see, actually the budget review? Did we get budget copies?
Just review it in your mind.
Okay,
please.
okay.
I'll just tell you.
Well, we can,
This is the one that I did. It has different wages in it, so it's not,
yeah, pay no attention to the wages. What do we got here? That's the other half. Here, David. Thank you.
I know some of this
We've had, high increases in some areas. Let's see. Dina, do you
Yes.
have that cheat sheet that you made that shows without the wages, the increases in the departments, or not?
I didn't bring that, but I do have the increases in,
Okay,
but it includes the wages.
okay.
Um,
Well, let's take the thorny issue first.
Yeah.
Let's look at the fire department. Um, Fire. There are a couple of requests by the department. The department head made a different request than one of his members, which was interesting.
I have those percentages if you need it.
Okay, hold on, let me find it, I'm talking while I'm trying to find it, and that never works well. $20,000 for administration, last year was 7,500. So that's a 51% increase. I would propose that that be reduced, and I'm going to see if Dina reduced it to 10,000. Dina put it on the sheet. I'm the one that suggested $10,000.
Right, I was gonna say, don't be blaming me for these cuts.
At first I was tempted to suggest it be even less, but I certainly understand what they're asking for and why. And then we move down to the other big one is the chief's salary. The chief himself asked for $20,000. I am suggesting 15. I think 40,000, I can't imagine, how much of an increase that would be. It's, there are other people in this town who work very hard, also needing raises and equipment, so that was my suggestion. David, we're looking at the fire department, it's page 5. So my suggested changes are line 156, the request was 20,000, I'm suggesting 10,000.
But I have to add, I have to say something about the chief's salary.
Okay,
According to the spreadsheet, it was 20,000 last year, so you're not intending to cut it. Was it 20,000 last year, or
Yes.
did I
it
make a
was
mistake?
20, no,
Okay.
that's right, I'm not intending to cut it, so that's my error. I occasionally look at this, what was spent.
Spent, exactly, that's what I thought, okay.
Thank you for that. So, he asked for 20, it was suggested it be 40.
Who suggested that?
The head,
Andrew Miller,
Andrew Miller, who's the
Andy
head
Miller.
of the
president of the EMS. That's
EMS, yes,
Yeah, who-
Emergency Services.
Who also said that the entire fire department voted against the chief's salary at 20 and wanted it to be 40, and that Aaron insisted on only going in for 20.
Well,
That was,
I don't think they said any amount, but Andy came up with a 40.
that could well be.
They wanted more. So we need to figure, gosh, Dina, I'm so glad you caught that.
Yeah, that'd be,
That'd be
they're
terrible.
already, they're
You'd
already
be
well
in
pissed
trouble.
enough.
Aaron would be on your
Well,
front
do
door.
we wanna raise it a little bit? Do we
Yes.
wanna go up
Yeah.
to 25 maybe?
25
I
or
have
30?
some comparative data.
Can-
We spent 20 last year, Orford spent 23, Thetford spent 45.
Okay,
So-
But the Orford is not for the fire chief, that's for their whole fire
Yeah,
department.
no, a different comparison,
Okay,
I've got
okay.
I've got all fire, EMS and everything, together in this
Yeah, I
new
did
spreadsheet.
look at that, but I just wanted to make it clear that that's not the fire chief's salary. That's what all the firefighters,
Yes,
their volunteer
So-
firefighters get paid $25 a run,
okay,
a call.
yes, I think we should raise it. The amount, I don't know,
25?
25, 30? It's,
What do you think we are, the school?
now, there is a recording being made and
I-
the
you
public
know
is
what?
here.
I'm sure that 30 would be a welcome,
That's a pretty big jump
That's a
in
big
year.
jump.
it is.
I kinda like, just my personal view, but if we think that it's too low, I kinda like raising it over a couple of year period
Mhm.
instead of in big
How
humps like
about
that.
27.5? That's it's 77,500 increase. How do you feel, Ben? Ben's calculating in his head.
Just thinking.
Why'd they only spend 10,000 last year?
They haven't finished spending this year's money.
Then we have another month to go. That was my,
Right,
where I went with the.
he was spreading it out, but
Yep.
lost track of spreading it out, so now he's.
Well, it's, you know,
Gotta go back.
we know they do a lot of work, a lot of
Yep.
stuff other than fighting fires.
Yep, yep.
Hmm.
So
You-
25, 27.5, or 30?
I think it's 27.5. They're good, they're also very vocal, so if you don't get it right, you're gonna hear from them.
Yes, right,
And get a motion at town meeting for whatever it is they
Yes.
think they want.
Yeah.
yep, and they usually prevail. But I'd rather that than take some money away from somewhere else and just never be able to build up the other place. It's gotta come from somewhere.
I wanna give him a bonus if he gets, cell service.
Well, and that's the next big thing, that's line 168, radio repairs, $11,500 of that request, which is $13,500, should be a warrant article, for the 11.5 for this repeater that he wants to get, so that at least, David, it may not help you, but it will help fire and ambulance and maybe
It's
police.
not for sale, yeah, it's for the connection with the school during an
During an
emergency.
emergency.
For the radios,
To be able to go over
Yeah.
there and talk to each other.
right.
So that helps with this line, and Dina, I'm sorry to have messed you up. Oh, also, we've got a truck that they're gonna want under a warrant
That's the
article.
capital, yeah.
That's
right,
capital
right,
reserve.
That'll be a separate,
It's
that's 90,000.
a part of the, fire budget. Comes from a different pot, but. So it would be, can you give me that revised number, Dina?
For what?
The fire, can you calculate
I
that?
sure can. Of course, I should have a separate laptop in here so I can do all that.
Oh, well, it's
That's
gonna
okay.
be,
No,
I'm
I-
sorry, that's.
Don't be silly. I have a calculator.
It's gonna be 126 or 130, something like that.
You're taking, oh no, I already did the 10, right?
Mm-hmm.
So 15, so 2, I don't know why I'm having such a hard time with that thing. 97,962.
Yeah, my sense last year with Aaron, in particular, was that it wasn't so much, one of the things that made for some friction was a lack of communication.
Yes.
So I wonder if it makes sense to actually have him come in, or for us to meet with him at some point and talk about some of this stuff and say, here's what we're thinking, what do you think about this, what do you think about that, you know?
That's a really good idea. Just as budgeting was starting, I reached out to him independently, and chatted with him, and we talked about things, and
Okay. so-
definitely, I can do that again, or we could have him come in and explain.
Whatever you
I think if you're gonna cut from any department's budget, you should reach out, or at least invite them to come to a meeting when you're discussing the budget, so
Yeah.
you can talk with them about it. I think it would make them feel better. I'm just lucky because I'm here all the time, you know?
Yeah.
Rich?
Would it be helpful to review the budget committee discussion that Phil and I were at, where they actually did a fairly forthright discussion, both of Aaron's positions, and then Andy Miller offered the dissenting
40,000.
opinion. I thought that was quite persuasive to me. So, I will offer to send you all a link queued up to that point in the Zoom.
Okay, that would be fine, thank
Okay.
you. We can do that. I'll be presenting tomorrow night, but I will try and watch it before then.
All right,
And as I said, this is a first dipping our toes in the water. The next meeting will
Of course.
be meatier.
Okay, and the total is 112,962.
112,962.
Yeah.
Yep.
I subtracted instead of added.
I thought that was a funny number.
Yeah, yeah.
112.
That's why I redid it, because I'm like, this is not right.
112,962.
Wish fulfillment.
So, yeah, it's about $10,000
Yeah.
less, which it would be if we cut administration in half.
Yep.
All right. Thank you, Dina.
Mhm.
Now, if I can get David and Ben to go back to the first page where we can talk about the executive. We're going to look at new software, which will be a savings for the town webpage. We're anticipating, I don't know how much of a savings it's gonna be, but the new software is 3,700. Is that correct, Dina? That's line 8.
For the town webpage, yes, it's, this year, when you look at the voted 2,900, that was changing, they're more than doubling,
Okay,
because they're getting rid of the particular software we use, the company we use now, and going to a higher end, so
okay.
it's like doubled.
So, and then the only other line where we talked about cutting from, let's see, would be select board supplies. And we decided to leave that at 6,000. Last year it was 5,000. We've already spent over 6 this year. And we have, the only thing I know, we're not doing the salaries right now, but
Select board supplies, that's these paper clips?
No, those were freebies,
I think the
believe it or not.
select board supplies are probably paper
It is, it's
and
paper
postage
and,
and some other stuff.
no, it's not postage, that's
comes
separate,
out
but
by
we use a
itself.
lot of toner, we use a lot of paper, you know, pens, pencils, notebooks, 3-ring notebooks, all that kind of stuff. Files, lots of files.
Let's see, town clerk is, where did we go here?
She increased her supplies too, thank goodness.
Yes, she did. 1,800 HIJK. This is a little bit difficult for me right now.
I'm sorry, William, you're looking at the two, there's two different
Yeah, I'm looking at,
things. So I don't know if you wanna look at the select, you don't know, you guys haven't decided.
wait, here's another, let me try jumping around and
Okay.
tell you what the big changes are. The legal expense, which is line 72.
Okay.
Last year, we voted at town meeting 60,000. We have 7 court cases on the docket, so we have put that department request up to 75,000. And another, and you're right, I will have to run this by, but in planning and zoning, the one change I am suggesting making, and I will talk to David about it, is reducing the $1,200 for minutes for the zoning board. And
Legal ads.
planning and so, wait a minute, CBA recorder, I'm suggesting $600, which last year was 500. And so far, he hasn't used it at all.
Spent 500 so far.
Oh,
Yep.
sorry, yep. And then what was the other, do you know what's?
It was line 87, advertising.
Oh, yes, advertising is up, 87. So he asked for 1,000. I'm suggesting moving it to 600 because that's a big chunk of change and I don't, it doesn't seem to be that busy right now. So that reduces his budget. Advertising. I know that the ads are expensive.
What are the, what
It's,
advertising?
so if there's a public hearing,
Oh,
either with the planning board or the zoning board, it has to appear in the Valley News twice, I think, but I'm not sure.
At least once, I don't know if it's twice, but yeah,
So,
that's Valley News ads mostly.
yep. Okay. Let's see, any major other things? Really, unlike most years, this year I did not go through and pull out $50 here and $100 there. If you remember, last year we did that. Under the cemetery, the sexton stipend, that's line 119. It was suggested by the department heads that should be raised from $4,200 to $6,000. The sexton is spending a lot more time with people and with walking through what's gonna happen and how it's gonna happen and so on. I'd like to suggest, as with the other items like this, 4,500 might be a more appropriate increase, but we'll probably hear from the powers that be that we should give them the 6,000.
Well, you had said 5 at our meeting.
Why did
Did I get
I
that wrong? I don't know.
I had 45
Well, I
right.
can change that.
No, don't change it, leave it. How about 5,000?
sure.
Everybody feel better about that? It's possible I'm working off an old copy. I had 3 copies of the budget. And I may be looking at the wrong one. Dina, that's my mistake.
All right.
That's okay. Okay. 1-5. Moving
Talk
right.
about the police budget, that's happy.
The police budget is happy. The police budget is definitely happy. It's last year,
Judy,
yes,
could I ask you to go back, I didn't catch up all the things on the town website. I know that we're with Civic Plus now, and I don't remember what we're paying them and what's the projected.
We paid them $2,900 right now, but it's
Mhm.
more than doubling. Because they're dumping the software that we have. And so we are going with Town Cloud.
So last year they were 2,900 and now it would be something like double that.
yes,
Civic
To
is
stay with
it's
that.
like $5,800.
Okay, all right. And Town Cloud then is
37.
37, okay, thank you.
Is there work associated with switching from one to another?
Yeah,
A lot?
no, I don't think so.
there is,
Jordan's the one that's really
there,
done this, but they build you a new page and there's a bunch of info in there for you to look at.
yeah, there is info in our packet.
So,
And so the 3,700 includes some of their effort to,
they're not charging us for that, correct? Taking us on as newbies, they're setting us all up for
Okay.
free.
good,
Yeah.
good.
Okay, let's go to police. That will be much more funner.
Funner, yes, much.
Funner.
Page 4.
Police. Last year, budget committee voted $373,887. The department request, well, this, hold on,
Was 328,
yes,
yeah,
was $328,010.
10, yeah.
$328,010. So, that's very nice, we
It's
like
like
that.
a negative 12.3%.
And that's
What's
just
the new
because
figure?
we no longer paying 3 salaries.
Right,
You had that Right, you had that third person for the half year.
What's the new figure that it's gone down to?
$328,010.
And the previous,
The previous number was 373,
okay,
887.
But that's the department's request.
Yes. These numbers will change slightly when we decide on the raises.
sure.
So, the next big one,
Doesn't need any spike strips, does he?
No,
do you have some
he didn't ask,
extra?
he didn't ask for any, but
Did you see the, I don't know, it was 6 months ago, there was a whole big hoopla in Norwich, because
Oh,
the police asked for spike strips and people went nuts.
I bet they did, wow.
highways and streets starts at page 6, line 190.
5 for you then.
Yes. The highway agent salary last year was 4,000, it's been 4,000 for several years. It's proposed to go up to 5,000.
Is that proposed by Scotty or by us?
Scott asked for it.
As far as I'm concerned, that guy's doing a kick-ass, fantastic job, and I'd be in favor of giving him a little more than that. Why don't we take it to 6 or 55?
I'm good with that, I agree with you.
And it's such a pleasure to have that not be a source of pain.
Yeah, yeah, no kidding. What else did we have there, Dina? That was the,
Just the phone went up and.
yeah,
what else?
and, well, materials and supplies have gone up, but he's kept a lid pretty much on everything. So last year, that department budget was $934,640. At town meeting, they voted $950,190. So the projected department request is 500 and, this is wrong,
No, the projected is 1,008,851.
okay,
That's the department request.
yeah,
What's that number, Tina?
$1,008,851.
also, it should be known that, the department request was for a 5% increase in salary for his workers. So,
Yeah, those people are getting harder to attract and maintain, and so we ought to try to not lose people if we
Yes.
can avoid it.
yep, and that's what Scott had said,
Yeah.
he needs to keep his
And we have
people.
such a great group right now, it's
Yeah,
just
it's really
amazing.
nice.
You can't make it better for those people to go work at McDonald's.
Well, you know, there are other towns that pay their highway workers a little better than we do, and they are in demand. So the last, really, in my mind, big sticky wickets are the health agencies. The VNA stays the same as it was last year. Headrest has not been in touch with us. We've reached out a couple times, not heard from them. So presently, they are at 0. We usually give them $1,000. West Central Behavioral is the same as before, $2,315. Wise is $600, that's the same as before. CASA, it's the court-appointed special advocates, $500. That was started a few years ago. Tri-County CAP is $3,490.
What's that?
I think that's fuel oil for
Yes.
people.
Oh,
Yeah.
Then we have the Public Health Council of the Upper Valley, which started out as Mascoma Valley Healthcare, 1,309.
You changed it to that.
Yep, they had asked for 1,700, so we changed it back to what we historically paid them. The Lyme Parish Nurse asked for 14,000. Historically, we have pledged 7,000 to them. I'm proposing to go back to the 7,000. Red Cross gets 500, which is the same, for a total of $26,664. The difference is $1,000 less than voted at town meeting last year, because we haven't heard from Headrest. I think those are the major items that were different.
So these are all organizations that provide some sort of health or counseling or other assistance to people who are residents of the town of Lyme.
Yep.
So in a sense, what we're doing here is we're spending $27,000 of the town's money to support these third-party nonprofit entities that do something.
Yes.
And I'm okay with that, but it seems to me that if the town is funding these things, we ought to be hearing back from them.
You do.
We ought to get some sort of report back from
You
them.
do.
We do.
And we ought to be, like, you could easily imagine an organization like this doing something that the town shouldn't be funding.
Mhm.
You know?
We get a report from them every year, it's in the town report. I
Okay,
actually have reports, happy to.
from all
I
of them.
thought you already had them, but you might, yep, well, from all, except I don't think Headrest, is the only one that we haven't received yet.
Okay,
I know the budget committee members have received all of them, and they give you the statistics on how many people in Lyme they actually helped and how they helped them. That's why it's really, I think, beneficial to read them prior to voting on them, but, because then you know what they do.
okay.
And they're happy, they've always said, you know, they're happy to come in, and if you have questions about any specific one, Jordan can call them up and invite them to one of your meetings to talk to you. The parish nurses already came,
Yes, they came to our last meeting,
right?
and we had some discussion about
Um,
separation of church and state.
Yeah, that's a good example of what I'm telling you about. If the
Right.
parish nurse said to us, we only help Episcopalians, then which is fine,
Absolutely.
but we shouldn't be funding them.
That's right.
Well, it's unfortunate that they're called a parish nurse, because they're not really a church nurse.
Well, they seem to be more associated now with CCL than they were, I think, when they started.
Well, they're definitely from the health ministry of the church. That's Tina Cullenberg was here.
Yep.
That's who she was representing, because that's where they started. So, and I know that they do stuff with CCL,
Mhm.
but, you know, they're not, as they explained, they don't go around and do wound care and,
Right,
you know, they do, if you need a walker, or if you need a, you know, companion, or somebody to sit with you for a little bit, and,
Health checks and things. There was a significant discussion at the last budget committee. Would it make a difference if they changed their name to the Lyme Community Nurse and got rid of the word parish?
I-
Doing the same things, and
Doing the
there was
same
some
things.
nodding of heads.
there was ambivalence. I think you're right, there was
Right.
some nodding, some not thinking it was important, some thinking we shouldn't do it at all. It's a
Right.
sort of an open question, and I think at that time, yes, Dick, I remember saying, Lyme used to have a Lyme nurse. And it was, then became, it merged with VNA,
Right.
and then VNA took it over, and so Lyme no longer
Right,
had an exclusive nurse that did nursing things.
right. But there was also discussion of they get all of their funding, or maybe not all, but a large percentage of it from the Burns Foundation. And they're concerned when Mrs. Byrne passes on that they won't have that money. Well, it's a foundation.
Yeah, I'm sure
You
they
know,
are.
I'll be really sad when she dies. She's a wonderful woman, but
But
her foundation will continue,
Yeah,
Yeah,
you know?
it shouldn't be an
Absolutely.
issue.
I'd be surprised.
Yeah, I would be surprised because she and her husband both very, very active in communities in the Upper
Yeah, and
Valley,
there's other people involved in the foundation too.
right?
Well, foundations drift over time and change their
They do.
priorities.
They do.
Sure.
But usually not instantaneously.
Right, there should be time to see if something is needed, but, and organizations change.
Correct.
Are we feeling, I know I need to go back and go through this because it caught me a little off guard that I hadn't caught some of those mistakes, since we just worked on it yesterday. That I make this presentation to the budget committee with the budget as it stands right now. And don't you two fellas go away because we're gonna talk about salaries next. But I think, we're finished with the agenda for today, except for that piece. Now I've lost the agenda. Boy, I am
You
totally
have-
unorganized.
Yes, you just have 2 non-publics left, that's all.
Okay. Yes, sir.
Could I make a request? I was interested, Judy, to hear you say you looked at the spent column and got confused. I wonder if it would be possible to have the spent columns, both the 2025 spent and the percent left to spend, and I guess the column F, the 2024 spent. Could they be italicized?
Oh, I wonder.
Because
Then you would, then,
you'd skim down and you'd say, oh wait, that's the italic number, that's not the one I wanna look at.
Well,
So-
this one is very busy because it
Okay.
has 3 different columns
Yep.
for 3 different purposes right now. Once you guys make your decision today, it will have one.
yeah, so it'll be easier.
And I'm happy to italicize it, yes.
Okay,
Yeah, that's a good
Thank you.
suggestion, thank you. We try to keep the workload down on Dina, cause she.
oh, absolutely, I'm not looking to change the world here.
No, I know,
I'm just trying.
I know that between
But I
me
make that mistake,
and
and I
the
saw you.
budget committee, yeah, oh, you did? Oh, I'm in good company then.
Wow, thank you.
I caught myself a bunch of times doing that, but apparently I missed that one.
Well, it is confusing,
And it's, yeah,
I do believe.
okay, so at whatever time it is, 12:15-ish, 12:17. I'm gonna move that we go into non-public session under RSA 91, Roman numeral 2, da-da-da-da-da.
there you go.
Yay.
A,
Should've been
little-
doing that all along.
Little a,
Yeah.
which is personnel. And we will be reviewing,
I'll second it.
thank you, Ben. All those in favor say aye, and Judy, aye. Thank you all for your attentiveness.
Thank you, folks. This is good work, this is really hard.
It is really hard, actually.
And we'll
It
see you on it tomorrow
Yeah, but they
night.
pay.
Yes.